Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be filming this video today. It's a video that I've wanted to film for a really long time, but I wanted to wait until I was a senior, until I had lived here for a long time, so I had all the information to give to you guys about the best places to visit in Miami, the best places to eat, the places you need to see, especially if you're a student and you've never been here before. I feel like a big part of moving to a new place, even if you're just going to university there, is exploring and learning so much about the area and seeing everything there is to see while you're living there. So I hope that this guide is super helpful for you guys, and let's get into it. So the first part of Miami that everyone really thinks about when they think of Miami, they go straight to South Beach. And South Beach is really fun. There's a lot to see there. There's always a lot going on there. It's chaotic in a way, but it's also fun and pretty, and there's lights, and it's a good time. I definitely recommend checking South Beach out at one point if you're living here, of course, and you definitely will without even trying, because South Beach is where a lot of things happen and where a lot of things are located. The main part of South Beach that everyone kind of thinks of when they think of South Beach is Ocean Drive. This is kind of the road right by the beach, where there's a lot of restaurants and stores, things like that. As of late, they have cut it off so there's no cars allowed to go, so there's a lot of people walking on this road. So South Beach is kind of at the bottom of Miami Beach, and Miami Beach is above it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'll put in a picture right here so that you guys can see exactly what I mean. But when you go up towards Miami Beach, there is Lincoln Road Mall, which is like an outdoor shopping space with a lot of restaurants and stuff as well, which I really like. There's also a lot of different restaurants and cafes and stores and shops and whatnot in Miami Beach, South Beach area that are really fun to check out. So I definitely recommend making it out there at one point. In addition to that, there's obviously the beach itself, which is kind of obvious. It's honestly a really great beach. There's a lot of sand. It's really open. There's all kinds of different people there, which makes it really fun as well. At any point if you go, you're going to see a bunch of tourists, you're going to see a bunch of locals, just a range of people in general. And one thing I really love to do at South Beach, Miami Beach area is to go watch the sunrise, because the sun rises on that side. So it can be really, really pretty some days, and it's always fun to like have a bunch of blankets and sit on the beach and watch it come up. Another part of South Beach that I really like is South Point Pier. That's where I like to go whenever I have like a beach day over there. While South Beach and Miami Beach are really fun to go to, and just a lot is going on there at any point in the day or the year, I also really like Key Biscayne, because it's still the beach. It's still, you know, super naturey, lots of palm trees, but it's way calmer than South Beach and Miami Beach. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't really like chaos, I recommend Key Biscayne, definitely. There's a park called Crandon Park. It's a park, but it's also like the beach. So that's where we usually go. You park your car there, or you can get dropped off there, and the beach there is really, really beautiful. There's a lot more trees and just nature in general than you would find at Miami Beach or South Beach. I'll insert a picture of the map so you can see where it is in contrast with Miami Beach, South Beach area. To be honest, I think the beach is a really big part of Miami in general. Whenever people think of Miami, they think of the beach, but when you're actually living here, you might not end up going there that often. Like I realized last semester, I think maybe I went to the beach 2 times, and that was over the course of 4 months. And I feel like when you talk to a lot of locals as well, they basically never go to the beach. I think it's one of those things where when you live here, you don't go as much, but if you ever visit here, you're there like every day. But I definitely recommend making the time for it if you are living here as a student, because it's so peaceful and it's such a special part of Miami that, especially if you're like from, you know, the Midwest or like the Northeast where it's freezing, it's really nice to just go to the beach even when it's in the middle of December and January. So the next part of Miami that I want to talk about is Brickell. I love Brickell, I'm not even gonna lie. It's kind of like the downtown area. Well, a lot of the parts of Miami are downtown area, but to my understanding, Brickell is the part with like the big skyscrapers. It's where there's a lot of places to go out, a lot of restaurants, and there's just a lot of things to do in Brickell. And also it's just really pretty, especially at night with all the lights and the skyscrapers. If you're into that kind of scenery, then I definitely recommend going to Brickell. There's a huge mall in Brickell called the Brickell City Center, and it has a bunch of fun stores. It's mostly like high-end stuff. They have a really good Zara there, which I love to hang out in. Not hang out and shop in. There's also a lot of different restaurants in that mall, and it's honestly a really pretty mall. Something I've noticed as someone who didn't grow up in Florida or in Miami is that people really tend to dress up to go to the mall here, which, you know, I'm from New Jersey. I don't dress up to go to the mall in New Jersey because our malls in New Jersey are really not that special. But that's something to keep in mind whenever you're going out here. I realized that in Miami, the way you dress and the way you present yourself seems to be really, really important, whereas it's not as important in different parts of the US or in the world in general. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. But Brickell is always a really fun time, and I really enjoy going to the city center. There's also a special part of Brickell that is like my personal favorite. I like to think I discovered it, but I know for a fact that I didn't, so pretend I didn't say that. Basically, whenever I'm at like the city center or anywhere like that, it's about a 10-minute walk to the water. So what I do is I just literally go on maps on my phone and I find the straightest path to the water, just looking at the map. And there's this place called Brickell Key, which has a little path right by the water where you can sit. There's benches, there's palm trees, it's really cute. And there's also a little section really close by where there are a bunch of food trucks, and they're really good. There's a Lebanese one, I believe. It's called Shukran, and I went once with my friends and I loved it. So I recommend checking that place out, especially at night when you look at the water. It's just really pretty. And during the daytime as well. That's the fun part about Brickell Keys. It's really pretty no matter what time of day you go. You can see the water, you can see the high-rise buildings, and you can see the reflection in the water, which is also super pretty. And then there's a bridge that also has a walking path. So if you cross the bridge on that side of the water, again, there's benches you can sit and you can just look. If you're a person who appreciates views, this is for you. If you're not, then just ignore this part. But I love looking at pretty things, so just sitting on that side is really fun as well because you can see the other side of the Brickell skyline, and it's really pretty as well, especially at night. I took my mom and my grandmother when they came to visit me and they loved it, so I recommend checking that place out as well if you just want a place to sit and eat or just like hang out. I don't know. There's also another part of Miami a little bit above Brickell, and what's cool about that is that there's a little metro mover and it's free, and it takes you from Brickell to Bayside. It's very touristy, I would say. There's a lot of restaurants. It's like right by the water again, but it's fun to check out and to look at if one day you just want to see somewhere new. So the next part of Miami that I want to talk about is Wynwood. Wynwood is really special because it's the art district of Miami. So whenever you're walking down the streets, there's all these buildings with all these murals painted on them, and the art is seriously beautiful. Like, some of these murals are just such talent has been put into them, and it's so fun to see, especially if you're a person who appreciates art a lot. There's so many restaurants and bars and clubs and shops and boutiques and things like that in Wynwood as well, which is really fun to look around and walk around. Oh my gosh, there's this ice cream place in Wynwood, and I shouldn't be doing free promo, but it's called Dasher and Crank if I'm not mistaken, and they have the funnest flavors. I love going there. Wynwood is kind of the place that you see a lot of pictures of, like people in front of murals and the art district. It's really, really pretty, and I definitely recommend checking it out. You have to see Wynwood if you're living here, and if you like to go out a lot at night and stuff, you'll probably end up in Wynwood a few times because there's a lot of fun places to go out there as well. Personally, me and my friends go to Wynwood a lot for Halloween. Every year that we've been here, we've gone to Wynwood for Halloween, and there's always a big block party and just so many people dressed up. There's police on horses because there's so many people in the streets that they can't get through them with cars, which is kind of fun to see too. And that brings us to the next part of Miami that I want to talk about, the design district. So personally, I didn't go to the design district until a few months ago, and I've been living here for a few years now, so oops, my bad. Personally, I don't know a lot about the design district, if I'm being honest with you, because I have been one single time. But if you're into designer things, then that is the place to go because you will find all the designer stores there, and it's really fun to just walk around, and there's always people taking pictures. One time I went, well, the one single time I went, there was a girl with a tripod set up taking pictures of herself, and I was like, good for you. I wish I could do that. It was amazing. They have a bunch of restaurants and cafes as well that are super cute. They have this food hall which has a bunch of different restaurants where you can get food from. I got Vietnamese iced coffee from there, and it was really good. So I recommend checking out the design district, especially if you're a person who's into aesthetics. It is just such a pretty place. And that brings us to the Keys. So don't come for me. I know the Keys aren't technically a part of Miami, but they are a huge like vacation destination spot around the world, and well, around the US. A lot of people who are visiting Miami also go down to visit the Keys because It's just really pretty. I've been down there a couple of times, and the drive down from Miami to Key West is about 3 hours, but you can stop at any point going down the bridge to the Keys because there's so many different keys on the way to Key West, if that makes sense. The water there is insane. It's like this clear blue, you can see right through it. There's a bunch of different like water activities, vendors that you can get, like paddle boarding, go on a boat, snorkeling, cruises, things like that, like day cruises. Again, a million different restaurants, and a lot of them have really good food. I found that it's a bit cheaper than Miami because Miami does tend to be more on the expensive side with restaurants and everything else. A part of the Keys that's literally one of the most beautiful things I've seen is the 7 Mile Bridge. It's like this bridge that you go on, and if you go on it at the right time and the right day where it's sunny and you can see the water, on both sides of you are just the water. And it's so fun because it's just one single road that goes all the way down to Key West. So it's a really easy drive, and it's just a really peaceful and pretty drive. It might be 3 hours, but it never feels like 3 hours ever. The Bahia Honda State Park is part of the Keys that I went to a few years ago. It was about 3 years ago. And I went with a few of my friends and my brother, and we all really, really loved it. I'll put in some pictures right now, but it's technically a state park, but it's like right on the beach, and it's just so pretty. Like, I don't know what else to say. So if you're ever on your way down in the Keys and you want to stop by Honda State Park, I definitely recommend it. Now, if you're going to the University of Miami, you're going to be living in Coral Gables because that's where our university is located. The main parts of Miami are the parts that I already talked about. They're the more touristy spots. They're the parts everyone thinks of when they think of Miami. But Coral Gables itself is really cute, and there's so many fun places to see as well. There's an area called Miracle Mile, which has a bunch of shops and stores and restaurants, and there's people walking, and it's really pretty. It's all lit up a lot of the time, and they have really yummy restaurants as well. I went to brunch there literally yesterday, and I loved it. And sometimes it's nice to not be in the middle of the hustle and the bustle of Miami, because when you're living here for a while, obviously sometimes you want to go out to BRICKELL, you want to go and be in the middle of the city and see what it's like and everything, but at the same time sometimes you want more of like a chill vibe, and in that case I would recommend going out in Coral Gables, downtown Coral Gables. It's really cute, and it's really like quaint in a way compared to the other parts of Miami. And there's also Coconut Grove. So Coconut Grove holds a special place in my heart because I did a video project about the peacock population in Coconut Grove this past semester, and I just basically ran around Coconut Grove filming peacocks. Downtown Coconut Grove has a bunch of different restaurants. They have some really good ones that are like super popular amongst the locals, like Green Street Cafe, Lulu's, and the Grove is a really good one. I've been to a few places there, and again, it's more on the chiller side compared to like Brickell and Wynwood and South Beach and things like that. So if you're looking for like dinner or brunch with your friends and you want it to be more relaxed, Coconut Grove is a really great place to go as well. So now that I've talked about the main places in Miami that you have to go visit if you're living here and if you're visiting here as well, I want to give some personal recommendations of restaurants I love, places to go and to eat that I love, and what I personally recommend for you to do based on my own experiences. So whenever anyone asks me, and I get a lot of DMs about this, comments about this, just recommendations for restaurants, my favorite restaurant in all of Miami is Shah's of Kebab. And I know that I'm biased because I'm Persian and it's Persian food, but everyone I've taken there absolutely loves it. It's literally just so good. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Amazing food. And there's one located in South Miami, which is literally a 5-minute drive from campus. The second place is this place called Palacio de los Jugos. And I don't go there for food as much. I go there for juice. They have the best juice ever. Like, I promise you. And it's on the cheaper side for Miami, which you don't really find inexpensive things in Miami, so it's like really fun to go. It's super like local. There's a bunch of different ones. It's like a chain. I always go, I order in Spanish. It's really fun, and I love their juice. It's just super fresh. They make it in the morning and it tastes so good, and you can never go wrong. Those are my main two Miami obsessions when it comes to food. I take everyone there whenever they come to visit me. I think all of those things together create a great guide to Miami for someone who's new here, someone who wants to check out all the places, wants to make sure they go to everywhere important in Miami. Please keep in mind, this is based on my own experience. I'm sure there's parts of Miami I haven't seen yet, even though I've been living here for a few years now. But just as a student, as a person who hangs out with students, these are the parts of Miami that I think would be really fun to visit as a student, whether you're international, out of state, from Florida, from Miami itself. One of the things I love about living here is that there are literally so many things to do. all the time. No matter what, there's something to do, somewhere to go. So I hope that you guys use this guide. I hope that it's helpful for you. I'm sorry if I talk fast. It's just part of who I am. Leave a comment down below of what parts of Miami you've been to, what parts you want to explore, and any recommendations you have, please leave them in the comments because I would love to check them out and I'm sure other people would really appreciate that as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!